Classroom Elite Season 2 Episode 3. What an amazing episode, first of all. I'm so happy Larch really came back from the last episode after all the outsourcing, and it really made a nice, dope episode over here. There were a few cuts I'm going to talk about, but first of all, let's review the episode, obviously. So, obviously, this was the Spread Your Legs episode, one of the most anticipated of year one, of this season, pretty much. I would say it's top 3 most anticipated. Don't worry, like, it gets a lot better later for any anime onlys. So, the main thing I really want to talk about is, first of all, I'm going to review it, and I really want to talk about one specific scene, what got cut mainly. It's mainly a monologue, what I really want to talk about. I'll go through the whole scene, and I guess I'll narrate it as I go. This episode, great. I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10, though, because from the moment it started to the end, I was hooked, and I wasn't really bored. Obviously, we carried on for where Kay was getting bullied, and obviously, they said they were going to rough it up a bit more, so they did add a little bit extra from last episode. And then, after that, we pretty much went straight into the boiler type of room, I would want to say. And this is where it got interesting, because I didn't really expect them to go fully into it. And there's like a little bit before that, like of how we sort of got to it. So I'll go through that now. Kiyotaka wanted to make a move. We obviously know this. He wanted to sort of do something with Kay. So he sort of had a plan to do this. There was a conversation skip with Sakura, obviously, but I don't think that affects too much overall in the grand scheme of things, and I might add it again. I don't know where we're sort of going with this content, because I want to say some stuff, but then again, I don't expect them to jump straight to 5. I feel like we get a little bit more on the ship, even though it looked like the volume ended, but I'm interested to see if they're going to do any anime original content, is what I really think they'll do. So, Kiyotaka pretty much got Manabe's contact info from Hirata, and with this, he sort of wanted to do something with it. What he did is he texted Manabe, and he sort of would make a plan with her. So Kiyotaka texted her. She replied, obviously, "Who is this?" Only natural that anyone would do this. He said, "Is anyone with you there right now?" She said, "I'm alone, but who are you?" And he says, "Don't show this to anyone for your own sake." Just who are you, she questioned on the text. Let's just say I hate the same person you do. He's trying to sort of lure Karuizawa or Kay into a certain situation, and he's sort of bringing Manabe over to his side, but obviously Manabe does not know who the hell this is. She says, "Do you have the wrong number?" And Kiyotaka replies saying, "This isn't a mistake, Manabe-san. I want to talk to you about Karuizawa-san, the person you hate. I thought I might be able to talk to you about it." "I don't know what you're talking about. Please stop sending messages," she says. She was wary, but obviously, over time, Kiyotaka thought, I had to win her trust. So it gets to the point where he keeps pushing and he keeps pushing, and he mentions Rika-chan, saying, "Oh, Rika's still scared of Karuizawa, even now. Don't you want to help Rika-chan? Your desire of revenge is written all over your face." It's like he's reading Manabe like a book, which he pretty much is, and bringing her over to his side bit by bit. She says, "I don't need your help, though. I just need Karuizawa to talk to Rika, then we'll know the truth." Kiyotaka says Karuizawa could be holding a grudge, and she might bully Rika further. And then she asks, "What should I do? Are you saying there's a way?" And you can really sense Manabe's intense desire to settle things, like over here within this text, right? Kiyotaka says, "If you and I work together, we can safely get our revenge." Even Manabe seems suspicious about this. I mean, I don't blame her. Random dude's texting her about this random. She could be a girl. Like, she doesn't know who's texting her. So it's kind of weird for her right now. Eventually, he explains the plan to Manabe. Says, "You're going to take her out somewhere here. I'm going to lure her here. And no one's going to see. There's no reception down there. She can't even call for help." And it's like, okay, wow. Everything's pretty much set here. And Kiyotaka has a thought to himself right after that. He's just like, let's see what Manabe and her friends are capable of. Kiyotaka's pretty evil. And I mean, he is a pretty evil dude in this volume. If a lot of people saw what he was doing, they might be like, whoa, this doesn't seem like the embassy I've been seeing. But Kiyotaka's thoughts are really fucked up in a way sometimes. And this is like the measures he really took to get Kay in this situation, as you guys can see. Then obviously the scene's pretty accurate. Kay says there's no signal. She wants to speak to Hirata. And then Manabe appears out of nowhere. She says, "What are you doing here?" And obviously the scene sort of plays out the same, but I guess you could say it's a little bit more brutal in a way. They obviously start arguing as usual, like they did in the anime, and Karuizawa obviously tried to slip past Manabe, but she was snatched by her long hair and slammed onto the wall. And Kiyotaka obviously talked about the milligram experiment, the psychological study in the 1960s. I'm not going to go through all that because it's kind of long, I'm not going to lie. Although it did mention how brutal this thing really was. It says the student's voice could be heard every time a shock was administered. So every time, you know, Kay's screaming pretty much, you can just hear her screams everywhere. And the most fucked up thing about this, you can just hear Kay says, "Ow, ow, it hurts," which was bad. And they keep like emphasizing like how much it was hurting, you know? Like Kay was going through a lot of pain. And Rika was slapping the shit out of her, as we saw. Kay just like, you know, obviously in anime too, she's just like, "Stop, please stop." And this went on for quite a while. And the most fucked up about this thing is, like I said, Karuizawa collapsed in fear, tears streaming down her face. And Kiyotaka said he moved without making a sound. He quietly opened the door, taking care that Manabe and her friends wouldn't see. And then this is where it gets even worse. He says, "After all, if something had been thoroughly destroyed, it saves me time and effort when I need to build it back up. I quietly closed the door and I was no longer able to hear Karuizawa's screams. Yo, that's the one thing I really wanted in the monologue. The way how Kiyotaka says, I shut the door and I was no longer able to hear any of her screams really shows this, like, bro, I'm gonna just leave her there to get beat the shit out of pretty much. And it really shows a different side of Ayanokoji's character, the dark side he's willing to get to, so sort of progress within this school, I guess you could say, and sort of progress to get his normal life in a way, right? Obviously, after that, he goes to Karuizawa, does pretty much the same thing, and I guess some stuff were cut, and like, if you guys are saying, like, oh, I wish it wasn't cut, it's kind of weird. I'll explain it to you right now, right? He obviously explained the Hirata thing, saying, I knew about all of this, and I'll talk about the spread your legs thing now, right? He pinned her up against the wall, obviously, and their eyes met. He says, you were bullied ever since you were little, you were a victim throughout elementary school and junior high, you wanted to act tough, so you could stop being bullied, am I right? And she's like, did you hear this from Hirata-kun? Kiyotaka explains, Hirata is everyone's ally. He'll help you like he'll help anyone. Even if you got your position in class, he pretending to be his girlfriend. He won't use you in any situations like this. He isn't good enough to host a parasite like you. So what Kiyotaka's sort of saying here is just like, Hirata's good. He'll do this and this for you, but he can't pretty much do what I'll do, right? I can do a lot more for you at this point. Hirata can only do so much. She says, why are you doing this, huh? Kiyotaka says, why? Isn't it obvious? Don't you understand your situation? Who's standing in front of you right now? It's not Hirata, it's me. I know everything. I know your past. I know your fake relationship with Hirata. I even know that Manabe and her friends tortured you to the point you started bawling. I knew everything that Karuizawa wanted to hide. Kiyotaka knows everything about it. He sort of got her in a deadlock right now, and she can't do anything. If he does, Kiyotaka says, I will expose you. So she pretty much really can't do anything. Obviously, it gets to the point where Karuizawa says, hey, what do you want? You want my body? Kiyotaka says, your body, you know what? That doesn't sound too bad. And this is where it gets a little bit detailed, so let me get my narrator voice ready for y'all. It explains what Kiyotaka sort of did to her right before. I ran my fingertips across Karuizawa-san's thighs. She felt so incredibly soft that I couldn't even imagine that she was a person like me. Her skin was silky smooth, the feel of it was so incredibly different from my own. And Kei sort of eked around here. She tried to escape Kiyotaka's touch, obviously, and he said, don't run. If you try it again, I'll tell everybody at school I know about you. She just had to pretty much take it. She stiffened. And obviously rage, panic, fear came across Kei. She didn't know what to do. And Kiyotaka says, spread your legs, I commanded. I assume this is while she's pinned up because she was sort of on the floor while this happened. But I assume, you know, I'm not really too sure what's going on there. And Kiyotaka says, spread your legs, I commanded. And that's like the iconic line. He just says, spread your legs, and it says, I commanded. It really shows like how much power his voice sort of holds in this situation. The anime does too. I guess you just really need to read into the lines a bit. One last bit though, I almost forgot to add it, so let me add it now. Right after the spread your legs, obviously we can really see how vulnerable Kei was to Kiyotaka. As Karuizawa slowly opened her legs with tears streaming down her face. As she did so, even if she knew she was about to be violated, she still wanted to protect her position. She knew she was being threatened. She knew Kiyotaka sort of had that thing on her, had her secret, but she didn't care. She had to protect this. She really couldn't let anyone know. The pain she felt from her years being bullied had worn out. Kiyotaka placed his hand on his belt buckle and pretended to rattle it. Y'all know what that means. I'm not going to have to explain that in any more depth. But even so, Kei didn't run. She was trying to accept this. She looked at him with empty eyes. And this was really the moment Kiyotaka knew that Karuizawa Kei had become the perfect tool for him. He didn't actually care about her body, he just needed to threaten her to see how far she was willing to go, how much he really needed to do to sort of protect her position. And he pretty much knows how much resolve Kei has in this situation. But Kei could obviously report him, but Kiyotaka didn't have to worry about that. He knew Kei had this PTSD and wouldn't really go to anyone because he knows if she did, I'm just going to expose this. So there you go. You really see how broken Kei was in this situation, how much Manabe really broke her. And it's horrible. It really is horrible when you see that. It really is horrible what you see how Kiyotaka sort of took advantage of her and how much he knew about it. And the fact that he did know about it makes it 20 times worse or 100 times worse. But that's really about it for this scene. And overall, like, goddamn, Kiyotaka, you are a menace, bro. And I guess that's pretty much it. He just really wanted to know what Kei was hiding. He wanted to know about her. He wanted to know about her darkness. He said despair comes in many forms, obviously we saw, and you've experienced despair, haven't you? And we get another bit over here what's sort of important to Ayanokoji's character. It says, Karuizawa's dark eyes met with mine. People who carry darkness within are attracted to one another, showing how much darkness Kiyotaka has within himself, and also the darkness what Kei is going through right now. And she really questions, what are you? Really showing that there's a whole mystery to Kiyotaka, and someone's sort of starting to see he's not just what meets the eye, obviously. And he tells her one thing, says, I will promise you, from now on, I will protect you from bullying. I will be more reliable than Hirata or Machida, is what he said to her. And we get this one last bit before the scene ends. It says, she tried to look puzzled, but that was all an act. After all, a parasite couldn't live without a host. By finding a new host, Karuizawa only had one way to go on living. With me. Wow. Beautiful scene though. That was mainly the main bit I wanted to get across to you guys, what was cut, showing how more dark I guess it was, but I don't know if they can really project all of that in anime. It's a pretty long scene. Overall, we did get a lot more monologue with Kiyotaka, but I think they did it really well, and I'm not going to complain over there. It's just, I really wanted that one scene of him saying, I shut the door and I can no longer hear screams. That makes it 20 times darker and really shows the fucked up side of Kiyotaka, the lengths he would pretty much go through to get something of his, right? To get something he needs in this situation. Beautiful though, loved it. 9 out of 10 episode, like honestly. I think that's pretty much the main thing I really want to talk about the cuts, because I don't want to make these videos way too long, so everybody can really just get a quick idea of what happened. Now, the interesting thing is, obviously there's different ways that UN obviously won the exam, right? Class C1. The way he figured it out was a little bit different, and it didn't really say, so I'm not going to really go for it yet, but overall, everything else was really spot on. It was just really just that main scene I wanted to go through. There might be some others, but like I would have to go through an extensive reread at the moment. ItzAzuSensei scene was really cute. I see the Honami fans lushing over the thighs though. I see y'all. Really cute. I like the panel by panel comparison I'll show you right now. Looks really nice. I really like ItzAzuSensei. I love her voice actress. She does such a good way of capturing the character, which is ItzAzuSensei Honami. Love that though. Like I said, overall 9 out of 10 episode. At the end, I'm interested to see this volume is really pretty much over now, is what I would want to say. They were sort of questioning the UN, and I guess we're sort of going to figure out soon how the UN sort of figure that out. So if they're adapting 4.5 next, I doubt it, because they did that in season 1, unless we do. And if they do adapt 4.5 and Horik, the bottle scene is in there, then I have to do a video on why Ike is the best character in Classroom Elite. But that's not happening, so I'm sure. Now, what you guys thought, that's the main bit I really wanted to cover. I'm sorry if I didn't really cover anything else, but overall, that is the main bit. There was a conversation with Sakura. Obviously, there was more context towards the UN thing, but I'm gonna wait till next episode to see if anything more is sort of added to that. Last episode, though, I said the Katsuraki stuff was cut, and that was really how ItzAzuSensei wanted to get Class A to stop doing their bullshit, and obviously that got cut over there. So there are overall a lot of things cut, but overall, the Volume 4 adaptation, I'm gonna rate I want to say an 8 out of 10. I think it just reached an 8. With that episode right there, the Volume 4 adaptation, I'm gonna say it's an 8. If someone says 7, I feel like 7.5 might be a little bit more accurate, but just because of my bias and how much I enjoyed episode 3, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. Beautiful though, I really can't see how they're gonna do volume 5. If they volume 4.5 as well, we have to see. But a lot of stuff happening. Obviously, next episode we can expect anime only spoilers. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about next arc. It should be in 3, 2, 1. We're obviously getting the sports festival exam, and I really can't wait to see how that sort of plays out. I don't know how many episodes it will be, but it's going to be a really fun arc to see how some of the sport games are done, especially like Capture the Flag type of one is what I really want to see. And obviously the UN, Horik, the situation with Kushida. A lot of spicy stuff coming, and we're really building up to a lot of interesting Volume 7 plot with the UN, so I really can't wait. Guys, I really appreciate it. Like, I'm trying to get to 10k. I'm really close. I think we reached 9k, but I don't know if it's like YouTube glitching. So I don't know. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments. Join the Discord, and also join the Classroom Elite Discord. Youzitsu is pretty fun server you guys can ever talk about. If you guys want to talk about light novel, if you guys don't understand something, go ask them over there. If you guys want to talk about the year 2 novels, they can also go over there. Check out my year 2 videos too. I should have the year 2 volume 3 coming out soon. I know a lot of people are going to start asking me. Don't worry, I've been sick a little bit and it's been too hot, but I'm working on it. So I want to make sure it's better than all the other ones. That's why I'm taking so long. So that's about it. I'll see you next time, Sensei.